We're live.
We now bring on the former St. Croix Lutheran Crusader, former Denver Pioneer, and current Iowa Timberwolves player, Ade Murkey. Ade, thank you for coming on, first of all. And let's start with your high school years. You played at St. Croix Lutheran, which is in West St. Paul, for those who don't know, and you averaged 22, 10, and 4 your senior year of high school, and were part of that St. Croix team that beat De La Salle for the first time in school history. What was that moment like beating De La Salle, a basketball powerhouse, year in and year out?
Hey, I low-key just kind of got chills thinking about that. I forgot about that game. No, that game, that was fun. Gym was packed. Like it was overpacked. They had to like start kicking people out the game. So it was amazing. No, it was just all around good experience. I mean, just that year we had a talented group of guys. The whole school always showed support. So beating them for the first time and winning conference, that was amazing. That was definitely one of the biggest accomplishments of high school for sure.
Yeah, and I know what you mean when you talk about chills, because both Brady and we played basketball in high school too. I played for Wayzata, and my senior year we beat Hopkins for the first time in 26 years, which is a little embarrassing to say, but hey, it's a day I'll never forget and one I'll remember for sure. And I think it's an even bigger accomplishment when we talk about yours in De La Salle, because most people don't know, and I obviously didn't know until I looked on Wikipedia, but St. Croix Lutheran, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it has about a student body population of about 500 from 6th grade to 12th grade. Is that right?
Yeah, small school.
How many people were in your graduating class?
I think I probably had like 107.
Wow.
We were small.
Yeah, a very different school than De La Salle.
Yeah, so that made it even sweeter, to be honest. That made it a little more better.
Yeah,
for sure.
Did the students from St. Croix Lutheran, did they storm the court after you guys won that game? Did they rush down and did you guys have a big moment?
We had like I remember I know a dude that went to Assembly High School, which is down the street. He stormed the court. Like it was dope. It was dope.
Yeah. I mean those moments in high school basketball, and particularly in Minnesota. I mean, not a lot of people nationally recognize Minnesota as a basketball powerhouse, but on this podcast, we've interviewed a lot of guys like yourself and Reggie Lynch, Finney Shaheed, and just the names go on and on. But the talent out of Minnesota is insane in basketball, and it just doesn't get any recognition at all. And it's crazy how many people are just under recruited and really underlooked just because they're coming out of Minnesota.
Yeah. No, it's definitely.
Sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, you go.
So basically building on that, your senior year, you had, I think, 4 offers. Is that correct? From Denver, Citadel, Maryland, Eastern Shore, and Vermont. Is that the 4 schools, or was there more on top of that?
Yeah. Sure.
And a guy.
I Vermont one. I don't really count that one.
You don't count that one? No, why not?
No, they stopped showing interest. They stopped, like they didn't even text me anymore. So I really had an offer anymore, to be honest. So I don't really count that. I really just say 3.
They're lost.
Yeah. Their loss, especially seeing what you did at Denver, at the University of Denver. Did you feel like you were under recruited coming out of high school? I think you were. Yeah, BG mentioned it. 24 and 10, 22, 10 and 4. You're averaging in high school your senior year. Those numbers. I mean, averaging a double every night. Did you feel like you should have had more offers when you were a senior in high school?
For sure. I mean, like my whole life has kind of been that way, kind of under recruited in every aspect. So, I kind of accepted it and kind of didn't really think about it as much. I kind of just trusted whatever happens. But yeah, I definitely do think so.
And you had those 4 offers coming out of high school, which now we learned you may consider those only 3 if we exclude Vermont. But you ultimately chose Denver, as we all know. What made you choose Denver over those other universities that either offered you or showed interest in you?
If we're being honest, I didn't go to the Citadel because I didn't want to go to Army school. I didn't want to do any of the Army stuff. Maryland Eastern Shore, I just really think that was going to be a good fit. Really to help me basketball wise.
Yep.
And honestly, we got Chauncey Billups' little brother with Coach Rodney. Just the whole coaching staff, honestly, I feel like they really believed in me the most. And they didn't promise me anything. You know, they told me I had to work for everything I got. But they said that if I did work, that I would be successful. So I kind of, you know, I just believed in them and they believed in me. So that's really why I went there.
Yeah, and you did work, and it shows based on the stats at Denver. As a junior, you averaged 11 points a game, and then your senior year, you made a big jump from 11 to 18 and a half points a game and 6 rebounds as well as a guard, which is it's tough to grab 6 rebounds a game. BG and I were talking about it before you called in that you don't usually see that jump from junior to senior year, averaging 7 more points a game. That's a big jump. What do you credit to that jump? Is that just work, putting in at the gym in the off season, or was there something during that junior to senior year that really just helped you explode onto the scene the next year?
Yeah, it's just work, honestly. Work and focus. I would say my freshman, sophomore, junior year, I don't think I was as focused on basketball. You know, when you first get to college, you're like, man, college, like this is lit. So I think I was really focused on college, and I wasn't really, you know, like don't get me wrong, I was still focused on basketball. Like basketball was number one priority, but I didn't take it seriously. My junior year, going into senior year, the summertime, I stayed there the whole summer. Worked with one of my coaches, Coach Thorne, and then our strength and conditioning coach, Coach Gary. And I think I got up to like 220. Like I was on my, like I got stronger in the weight room, faster, more athletic, better on the court. So I give a lot of credit to those the coaching staff there.
Yeah, for sure, and it definitely showed night in and night out your senior season, and I guess in your junior season and sophomore season too. But in your time at Denver, you had some crazy games and crazy stat lines. To start on Valentine's Day 2019, February 14th, you broke the Pioneer Division I single game points record with 42 points against South Dakota State. You had 33 against Western Illinois another night, and you had 20 or more points 8 times in just your senior season alone. Was it at that point that you begun to think you had a chance to play in the NBA, or at least at some level once college was all done?
Honestly, my whole life, I kind of thought I was going to be able to play in the NBA. I never had a plan B. Everyone, as cliche as that sounds, I never had a plan B. I was like, no, it's basketball only. But I think after my senior year, I was like, no, like this could really happen. Like this is becoming a reality. Especially after that 42-point game, I was like, oh yeah, this happening for sure now. Like I'm doing it.
Definitely.
That game, I was like,
yeah.
Sure.
What's it like scoring
That's
42?
funny.
I mean, BG and I, neither of us, it may be in a rec game, but in a real basketball game, I've never scored 42 points. You got to feel pretty good walking on the floor. Just kind of, you know, I imagine a little Conor McGregor walk off the court, you know, flipping those shoulders around a little bit.
What's weird is like in the game, I didn't even know I had that many points. Like I knew I was scoring the ball pretty well. Like I was making open shots, but I didn't know I had 40. I thought I had like 20 something. And I'm in the game. It's like 3 minutes left. I looked at the South Dakota State bench because I was cool one of the dudes on the team. And he was like, "Yo, 42? You going crazy? You ain't 42?" I'm like, "Yo, like what? I just did that." And my coach told me after the game, and like South Dakota, like they don't really like show support like towards other players. Like they mess with their home team. Like If I came out, I get a stand ovation from everybody. I'm like, oh, this is dope. Like I just did my thing, but we lost. So at the same time, like I was happy, like that I record. I was like a day, this is what you worked hard for. Like you worked your ass off for this, but we still lost the game. So at the end of the day, it really didn't matter that much. Just because, I mean, 42 points don't mean nothing if you don't win.
It's still a record, though.
It's a good answer.
Yeah, still a record. But it was on the road, and you got a standing ovation on the road. That's pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
That's
yeah,
cool.
Exactly. So
it was yeah. And I think you finished that season as the second highest points per game leader in the Summit League, And surprisingly, BG and I were looking at it, you were named to the second team of the All Summit League. Did that kind of put a chip on your shoulder going into the off season? Because I mean, you scored 42 in a game, and you got to be first team.
Man, I was so hot. I was like, "Are you serious?" But no games. Like we didn't win no games. So I kind of expected it. You're not gonna get recognized unless you're winning. You can be putting all the points you want up on the board, but if you were a losing team and y'all not winning no games, I mean, it's not really too much they can do for you.
Right.
So, I mean, it was honestly just to get second team, just because we finished second to last in the conference. So just to get recognized for that, I was still pretty happy just because it showed all the hard work I put in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you mentioned you were hot after getting to the second team, and I don't know if you were hot on this night too, but we read a story about, so I guess now moving from your college career and kind of transitioning into post-college and NBA, we read a story about your draft night, and that was November 18th of last year, 2020. I think it was the Forbes article, which is, by the way, really cool that you got interviewed by Forbes. That's a story within itself, I'm sure.
Yep.
But it said that you went to bed really upset and sad that you weren't going to be drafted, only to wake up from a phone call from your hometown team, Timberwolves, offering you. Can you just walk us through that story and what that was like for you?
Yeah, so the night of the draft, like my family was like, it's a possibility, like you can get drafted, right? And I'm like, yeah, there's a possibility. But in my head, I'm like, man, I'm not getting drafted, man. Like, let's be real, I'm not getting drafted. And that kind of hurt, honestly, because like I was like, man, I worked my ass off. College, I worked my ass off before, like after. And I was like, it hurt, honestly, when I realized I wasn't going to get drafted, it hurt. Just because that's what I worked my ass off for. Like I worked hard to, be in that position and hear my name being called. But the day of the draft, I was like, man, it's not happening. So I think I don't know exactly what time I went to bed. I can't really remember anymore, but it was pretty early. But I woke up, I think at 5 or 6. I went to my high school to go back to work out because that was the only time I can get in the gym. And I had like 8 missed calls from my agent, 5 text messages. I had him email me. I'm like, why are you emailing me, my dude? Like, email me. He FaceTime my stepdad, calling my mom. He like, yo, call me. We got some good news. And I woke up with a big ass smile. Like, oh yeah, yeah. I was like, yeah, it just happened. So I was geeking, to be honest. I was like, man, like a day, like you deserve this. Like you've put in the work, the amount of times like you've cried over like basketball, you bled, the tears, like you feel me? Like I worked hard for this. Mm-hmm. So
I could only imagine.
Exactly. But it's weird because mom wanted to celebrate. Like she wanted to celebrate, like go out to dinner. But I was like, Mom, I didn't even get on the team. Like, I'm not even official on the team yet. Like, I'm not trying to celebrate yet. Mm-hmm. So it was definitely a surreal moment. And I'm definitely, grateful and appreciative of that. But yeah, it was dope.
Yeah.
It was,
How much better did it make it that it was the Minnesota Timberwolves, your hometown team, rather than just another? I mean, it would have been special either way, but to have your hometown team come out and recognize you as a talent and try to sign you to a contract, how much better did that make it?
Oh man, that honestly probably felt better than being getting picked up by anybody else. Just being from Minnesota, didn't get recruited by the U of M. Yeah. I was under recruited. Like it felt amazing because that's the top dogs. Like that's what everyone's trying to get the NBA. So to be recognized from the team, from your state, and being under recruited and being, you feel me? I was like, man, like you're on the verge of something special. Like you can do this. So it felt amazing, honestly.
Yeah. Like I said before, I could only imagine, and I'm extremely jealous of you. But that's just awesome for you. I think a good transitioning point. You mentioned it briefly before that people around you wanted to go out to dinner with you and celebrate, but you're saying I'm not officially on the team. A question we wanted to ask is, we saw that you signed an Exhibit 10 contract with the Timberwolves. To us and to basketball fans and just sports fans who may not follow the NBA and all that contract stuff closely, what does an Exhibit 10 contract exactly mean?
It's basically like a training camp invite almost, with the opportunity to make the roster. It's not really a whole lot more than that. It's really based on opportunity to go to training camp, for them basically evaluate you, and then basically that G League team has the rights to you. So it's basically you getting signed to the G League team, and then the actual NBA team, which I think that's what it means. I'm not really too sure at the same time.
No, I mean, that sounds right to me. And you did go to Timberwolves training camp, isn't that right, in early December or maybe middle December?
Yeah.
And how was that experience? I mean, that must have been, and that's with the full team, right? That's with Kat and D'Lo and all the guys. I mean, maybe some of them weren't playing right then, but what was that experience like? Because it had to be pretty special to be on the court with those guys.
It was different. Coming from Denver, mid-major program, you're not really dealing with guys that are giants like Kat, Ed Davis. You're not dealing with 7-footers. So it was different. You're not really dealing with guys like D'Lo, Malik Beasley, and you're not dealing with those type of players. So it was an adjustment for me, just because I was used to being, the fastest guy or the most athletic guy on the court. Mm-hmm. Whereas in training camp, you got somebody either taller than you, longer than you, more athletic. You feel me? So it was an adjustment. It was an amazing opportunity, a learning experience. Like I feel like I learned a lot. So it was dope.
What was Anthony Edwards like? Was he as funny and kind of as jovial and even as cocky as he comes off in the media? Because he's a character, and I absolutely love him, and I love that we picked him. And he just seems like an awesome guy to be around, just kind of full of confidence and full of energy.
Yeah, Ant's my guy. I've only known him. That was my first time meeting him there, and meeting him, like I rock with Ant. Funny dude. He's honestly a really great teammate. He does build confidence in you. Like I remember I was doing a workout with one of the coaches, and he hopped in and was my screener. Like he started screening for me, and I was like that's dope. I wouldn't expect number one draft pick to do that. You feel me?
Right.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'll set your screens for you. Or he was like, the reason you're missing because you're not pounding the ball hard enough before you shoot it. Like he was like, I used to go do that same thing. So when you come off that screen, pound it a little harder, and you gonna make that shot. And I did. Like he's a dope dude for real. Like what y'all see on the internet, that's Ant. Like he's a funny dude.
Yeah.
He's life. He has energy. He's a young dude. He's cool. I rock with him.
Yeah.
That's great to hear. That's a great story. I mean, yeah, like you mentioned, the number one overall pick, you wouldn't expect him to be helping out the G League guys or the 10-day contract guys in training camp, but just the fact that he did that, it says a lot about him.
And Ant knows he's good. You feel me?
Yeah.
But he don't come off like he's everybody equal. He don't come off like, yo, like I'm number one draft pick. Like this my stuff. Like you if you didn't follow basketball at all, like you wouldn't. He don't come off like he's number one draft pick. Like he comes off as a real cool dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes me like him even more.
Yeah, I do too. Last question about Anthony Edwards. I know this is your interview, but we're asking a lot of Anthony Edwards questions. He said in an interview he could play any sport, including hockey. Do you think he could be a hockey player? Is he that athletic where he could just transition to any sport? Because
I played hockey first sport. Hockey was my first sport when I moved to Minnesota.
Okay.
And hockey is, but I don't. If you know how to skate, then maybe. But nah, hockey that's different. Hockey
it's not like picking up a ball.
That's what my
you got blades on your feet.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I mean, hockey's hard to transition to.
Yeah, you can't just be like, yo, I'm gonna play hockey today and be good.
No. Yeah, it doesn't.
But I mean, he's a talented dude, so he might be able to. You never know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Certainly. All right, let's move back into Iowa Wolves. We talked about it before we started recording. I didn't know this, and BG, I don't think you did either. But the G League, all the games, you guys playing in a bubble down in Orlando this year. And I think it started in early February. What's that atmosphere been like? What's it been like playing for the Iowa Wolves down in Orlando for the last month or so?
You know what? Like I've talked to like some of the guys on the team about like the G League experience beforehand, and like they tell me, like some people tell me how rough it is. You know, having a bus after one road game to the next city, or you know, carry your luggage to the airport. People say it's a grind. So I think I'm definitely, you know, in a great opportunity where I'm in a hotel room, like I can walk to practice and then we go get on the bus to go to the next game. Like there's no travel.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm definitely fortunate enough in that situation. But just being on lockdown, not be able to go nowhere, that does suck. But lately, like since COVID has first started, I've kind of been a person that wants to be by myself anyway. And like I don't really like going anywhere anymore. Like I'd rather honestly be in a room and chilling, watching Netflix, playing a game, listening to music, whatever. So for me, honestly, it's not really that bad. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't sound bad living down in Orlando, beating out the Minnesota winter. I guess you'd be in Iowa.
Yeah, Des Moines. Not trying to get you in trouble with any Iowa Wolves fans, but I'm sure you're enjoying Orlando a lot more than Iowa in February.
Iowa, it's like, oh man, all that. I'm taking this 10 times out of 10 every time.
For sure. I don't blame you. Let's see. So we're going off the Iowa Wolves, just talking more about the G League now. You're playing against ex-college stars every night. You're playing against NBA veterans like Jeremy Lin, Jarrett Jack, and there's also younger guys than you, potential number 1 overall picks like Jalen Green, who you guys have played against, and Jonathan Kuminga. Just describe that environment, because I'm sure in no point of your life you've been going up against guys on a nightly basis that just differ in so much. High schoolers are high schoolers. College guys are college guys, but having to play a wide variety of people. What is that just like in that G League environment?
You gotta bring it night and night out. Like every night you're facing somebody that's, you know, that's like that. That's actually, you feel me? Like you're not playing those scrubs no more. Like in college, like you might get away like on defense where you're not playing a guy that's as talented, so you kind of coast a little bit.
Yeah.
But here, like if you coast even one bit, your man is scoring the ball. So you just gotta bring it every night. Like there's no taking time off. There's no relaxing at all. So it's definitely a challenge just because you got to get used to, you know, the skill level. Like it's different, but it's a good type of different.
Is it hard to find the motivation? Maybe that's the wrong word, but is it just hard to find that grit to bring it all every night when there's no fans inside the stadium or very little fans?
At first, I thought it would be like that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was like, man, no fans, like. But I mean, they be having music in the background of the game, so you might hear your favorite song while you run down the court. But oh yeah, it's go time. Now it's my song. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, I just listen to the song before the game. I'm turned now. But I mean, your team does a good job of, you know, making sure there's energy. Your teammates do a good job of everything. And at the same time, you're not playing for yourself anymore. So like you're playing, you want to go hard for your teammate. So it's honestly kind of easy to play hard. It's not hard for me, honestly, just because I'm like, man, if I'm relaxing, I'm not, you know, bringing it on defense, offense, then I'm letting my teammate down. And we all in the G League, we all trying to get to the NBA. We all trying to get somewhere. So why would I not play as hard? Because if I don't play as hard, it looks bad on him because then he has to do more than he should. So it's kind of like a line. I don't really know how to describe it, but, you know.
No, it makes sense.
Yeah. You got 8 games under your belt in the G League right now. How is there a number? Have they made a final schedule, I guess? Is there a set number of games you're going to play when you're down there? Do you know right now?
Man, we got 7 games left.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yes, we got 15 games total. And then that's regular season. And then I think like 2-3 rounds of playoffs. I'm not really too sure. I don't know how many games are each round, but it's not a lot. So
Yeah.
it's coming down to an end pretty soon.
And then it just goes into off season. Do you guys go back to Minnesota or to Iowa then just to start working on your off season, or are you guys free to go back wherever you want, go home?
I don't think they decided that part yet.
Okay.
So I'm not really too sure what's happening once it's all over. I would assume probably go back to either Minnesota, Iowa, and start training just to keep working out, but I'm not really too sure, honestly.
And have you signed a multiple-year deal or anything, or are you just a game to game or day to day, or do you know you're going to be with the Iowa Wolves?
Yeah, I'm more of a game by game, whatever.
Day to day. Yeah, I kind of messed that whole thing up.
Yeah,
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, you're straight. So yeah, I'm really just trying to work so I can get one of those and get my dreams come true to feed my family and
Yeah.
So taking it day by day, step by step.
Yeah. Well, you made your dream, at least a dream of playing professional basketball, come true already. Does it feel real? Do you feel like, I know you mentioned when you first got the call from the Wolves, it didn't, you weren't on the team yet. You said it didn't really sink in right away, maybe. But does it feel like you're a professional basketball player yet? Does it feel real?
It feels real, but I'm not content yet. Like I'm not, settled on this. Like yeah, I'm here, but this is not the end goal for me. Mm-hmm. So I'm definitely, I'm definitely appreciative of this opportunity and being here because, like, a lot of people want to be here. They cut the teams down. I think we have 17 teams or something like that down here, and there's usually 20 something.
Yeah.
So I think that's at least 120 players that are usually in the G League, and I'm one of them that's here. So I'm definitely blessed to be in this opportunity, but at the same time, like I have my, my eyes on a far bigger picture. So like I'm definitely, don't get me wrong, I'm definitely happy to be here though, for sure.
Yep. No, I think that's the perfect answer. I think that's the perfect answer. You're happy to be here, but you're ready for more and you're hungry for more. And we're waiting to see it. We're gonna watch and we're your biggest fans now. We're your number one podcast for Ade Murkey. All right, let's get into some quick hitters here. And these are just kind of fun questions. Are you the best dunker on the Iowa Timberwolves?
No.
Oh, who is?
No. Zylan. That man got bounced.
Who was it?
Cheatham. He went to Arizona State, and he played with the he was a two-way player with the Pelicans last year. He got bounced.
Okay.
He got bounced. I would say I'm second though. I would say I'm second.
Okay. We'll take it.
So we got to find a way to get that guy off the team. So then you have claims to the throne.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Speaking of another teammate, do you or your teammates ever give Canyon Barry, who's the son of legendary Rick Barry, do you give Canyon Barry shit for shooting free throws underhand?
No, because it's cash. Like
it is.
You can talk all bad about. You can say whatever you want, but he's probably the best free throw shooter I've seen. Like he don't miss.
He is unbelievable. I remember seeing his free throw line percentage in college. I'm blanking right now where he went to college. It was somewhere out west, I think. But it's high 80s, like even close to 90 for like a free throw percent shooter. It's insane. But
and it's honestly like I didn't even know who Canyon was at first. And then when I seen the roster, I looked him up. I was like, who is Canyon Barry? And then I seen a video of him shooting underhand free throw. I was like, what the? Did he just shoot that underhand? It was cash. And I seen it in person. I was like, he really shoots like this.
Yeah.
I was like, man, cash.
I'm guessing you didn't expect to see that in the NBA.
No,
a guy shooting underhand free throws.
I was like, I'm over here thinking about the dude from Tropical Thunder. What's his name from Tropical? You feel me? I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah, I can't think of the guy's name, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Don't miss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never seen somebody do this like actually in the game, like.
Yeah.
And he said in college or high school he shot like overhand. He shot the right way.
Oh, did he?
The right way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he said he always knew he was gonna shoot like this. So I was like, I mean, that's you. You can do your thing, big dog.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah, it works for sure. All right, another one of your teammates, Jordan Murphy. He's a Minnesota Golden Gopher. He was. A lot of the listeners probably know who he is. What's Jordan Murphy like as a teammate? Is he kind of rough and tumble like he looks like on the court, always lowering that shoulder and getting good body position? Is he kind of like annoying guy in practice to go up against because he's just always lowering his shoulder and bumping in and banging into you?
I mean, honestly, we haven't had too many practices just because we have so many back-to-backs. So we had training camp practices, which I think was maybe like 6, 7, 8. I don't know how many practices we had.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But no, Murph's a cool dude. Like, he's a really good teammate. Like, if he sees somebody struggling, like he makes sure to give you confidence. Like, he makes sure man, you got this. Like, you've done this before. Like, I know what you can do. Like, just be you. Play like how you know how to play. He always gives you like life to lift you up if you're playing bad or not shooting the ball well. But yeah, if you guarding him, like, you gotta make sure you box him out because he getting a finger on every rebound. Oh, yeah. He's everywhere. So yeah, that's my guy. I like Murph.
Yeah, love watching him play with Minnesota.
He's a dog. He's a walking double-double at Minnesota.
Seriously.
It's crazy.
Yeah, unbelievable. He's just got such quick bounce for a big guy, too. He gets up and down just like that. It's something else.
And it's crazy because, like, when I was at Denver, I used to watch Murph in college. And I'm like, man, he had another double-double. And it's crazy. Like, we're teammates now. So it's funny how life works.
Totally. All right, another quick hitter. Who is your favorite artist, if you had to pick one? Musical artist.
Lil Durk.
I don't even know
Lil
who that
Durk.
is. I can't. I'm sorry. I don't know who that is.
I've heard of Lil Durk, cannot name a song.
Who y'all like? Who y'all listen to?
Let's see. I don't know. I listen to all kinds of music. I listen to kind of old school, like, rock and roll, that kind of stuff. But let's see, from like rap music, I like recently I've been liking St. John. He got a good song called
I've heard of him. Yeah.
Monica Lewinsky. It's a good song. It's a good album, actually. It's the guy it's the song like Roses or something like that is like his famous song. I don't really like that one as much, but there's some good songs on his new album. I can't remember what it's called, but it's St. John. That's who I kind of like out of the rap.
I've heard of him. He's cool. I've heard of him. Yeah.
I'd say my favorite rapper is Kid Cudi, especially the early Kid Cudi.
Okay,
I'm a huge Kid Cudi fan. Yeah, Man on the Moon. I love that stuff. But yeah, I like rock and like Eagles and older stuff too. But can't say I've heard a Lil Durk. We're gonna have to listen to him after this.
Definitely after.
The Chicago rapper. He's dope. I rock with him.
Lil Durk.
Okay.
I like it.
Good to know. Who's your most famous person in your contacts?
My most famous person in my contacts. Most famous person. Probably Chauncey. Chauncey Billups. Yeah. I'll probably say Chauncey.
Wow. How do you know Chauncey?
Cause his brother was our head coach.
Oh, okay.
Either Chauncey, maybe Malik Beasley. Yeah, I can't really think right now.
Oh, those are pretty good answers.
Yeah, probably
good names.
Yeah, those are definitely good names. All right, well, we'll let you keep thinking
Malik's
about that.
guy,
If
too.
another one comes up, let us know. Yeah, Malik's a beast.
For sure.
Absolutely love watching him play with the Wolves. Who is the best? This is another tough.
Even a better person.
Yeah, is he? Maybe we'll have to interview him on the pod sometime. Love to do that.
Got you. He's a cool dude.
Yeah. Who is the best player to come out of Minnesota in your opinion? And we'll say like within the last like 5 or 10 years when we were kind of coming up out of Minnesota. Who do you think? Because there's been a ton of good basketball players. Tyus Jones, obviously a big name. A number of big names. Gary Trent. I can't even think of all the names right now. But who do you think would be the best player out of Minnesota in the last like 5 to 10 years if you had to pick one?
That's a tough question. Like, who I think is the best? Like, I'm gonna go with myself.
I love it.
If I who the best, like I think I'm the best. Like I don't think anybody else is better than me. But if you want to say like who's been the most like accomplished, like one of those type of questions,
Yeah.
I'll probably say like probably Tyus.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Just because he's been in the league for so long.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know who else you could put a top Tyus for as far as accomplishments go.
Yeah.
Younger guys who are getting there. And I hope it's not Tyus just because more Minnesota guys get there. I love Tyus, but yeah, I think that's a
or
good
you can say
answer.
Chris Humphries, like he was in the league for like 10 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Humphries
but I mean,
but Tyus,
it's just growing.
Yeah.
You said what?
It's just growing, the number of Minnesota athletes
exactly.
Everywhere, and Brady and I have talked about this a lot, but everywhere you look in Division I basketball, there's, that guy's from Minnesota, and it's McKinley Wright, the best guy on the team, up for first team Pac-10. It's these guys around the nation just balling. And we've seen this year so many guys went to the league, Trey Jones, Tyrell Terry, and there's a lot more coming through the Minnesota pipeline. It's just it's exciting to see as basketball fans from Minnesota getting the national recognition we as a state deserve.
Yeah, it's about time. Like Minnesota has some dogs. Like Minnesota's been slept on for years, and I think it's still slept on. Like people still don't really like give Minnesota the respect that we really deserve. Like there's a lot of guys in the if you look at like the D1 teams that have Minnesota players on their team, like more times than not, the player that's from Minnesota is probably the best on that team.
Yeah,
for sure.
Like, you look at Gonzaga, you got Jalen, Colorado, you got McKinley. Like you feel me? Like Gabe from Minnesota, he's one of the best players on the team. Like Vinny when he was at NDSU, like the best player on the team. Zeke Naji when he was at Arizona, one of the best players on the team. Like the dudes from Minnesota, when they get that chance, like they some dogs. So it's just, we don't really get that recognition that each other, top states get, you feel me?
Right.
Yep. No, we're totally with you. We talk a lot about that pretty much every week.
Yeah.
And you're helping out our cause.
Yeah.
So
keep working.
We're doing well. We love to see it.
Minnesota's a basketball state. It's a basketball state, and we're gonna be recognized as that someday.
Man,
not a hockey. No matter how much Anthony Edwards wants to venture over there, it's a basketball state.
Love it.
All right. Stay with me on this one, Ade. On February 24th, 2020, you posted an Instagram video of your Denver highlights, which you captioned "King of My City." Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is it fair to say you're now the king of Des Moines?
Yeah, that's fair to say. King of Des Moines, that's fair to say.
I love it. Hasn't even played a game in Des Moines yet. Maybe Orlando. We can call you King of Orlando.
That's fair to say.
Denver.
I'm gonna take Denver, man.
Yeah. I think you need that. You need that kind of attitude if you're going to be an NBA player, and you got it. I absolutely love it. Who's winning the NBA championship this year? Who's winning the finals?
I'm going with LA Lakers, man.
Yeah.
You can't stop Bron with a healthy AD. You got Montrezl, you got Dennis, you got Wesley Matthews, you got Mark, you got Cool, you got all these tools, man. They too deep. Roster is too deep. You can't beat them.
Who's your favorite in the NBA? Favorite player?
Bradley Beal, and I would say Bradley Beal and Jaylen Brown, I would say.
I like those just because it's not LeBron or Durant or somebody who 90% of the people is their favorite player. I like that. Jaylen Brown and Bradley Beal.
I just think it's hard. Like for me, like I want to have a favorite player that I can really like look up to and really try to, find similarities. Obviously, like Bradley Beal is a little different. Like Bradley Beal, I'm not similar to Bradley Beal at all, but like
not yet.
Like Jaylen Brown, like I watch Jaylen Brown all the time, like because like his situation, or not really situation, but like his playing style and how athletic he is and how strong he is, I kind of think are pretty similar to him. Like with a bigger guard, athletic. So yeah, like LeBron James, I don't really compare to LeBron James or Kevin Durant or Kyrie. So it's kind of hard for me to have them be my favorite player.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. No, that makes sense. Ade, we've got one more question for you before we let you go. And this is just an improvised question because I feel like we almost cut you off earlier talking about Malik Beasley. It seems like you have a story or just something about Malik Beasley being such a good guy. I don't know if you can touch on.
No, I actually do. I remember, one, he was open arms right away. Didn't even know me. You know, I knew who he was just because when he was in Denver, we had the same barber. We had the same barber.
I love it.
He in Denver, and my barber would always talk about Malik and how cool he was. So when I seen that he was in Minnesota, I was like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna have something at least talk about, like, and be like, you know, like, you feel me?
Yeah.
But no, the first day I'm in a hotel room, I'm watching Netflix. I'm in my room, and actually earlier that day, I think he gave me his number, like, if you ever need some, like, hit me type of thing or something like that, or like I seen they was hooping, and I was like, man, I couldn't get the invite. It was something like that kind of started the whole thing. And that night he FaceTimed me. It was like, "Young Bull, what you doing?" And he was with Jared Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
And he invited me and Ashton over to his house to play basketball. Like we just played one-on-one and stuff like that, and just chilled, chopped it up. But that's how kind of all first started. And then, you know, as training camp went on, like, we still was cool. Like, we would always talk. He would put me on game, and he invited me over to his house, like, just me. And we went to his office, and I was just talking about, like, how I was struggling, like, with basketball and stuff like that. I kind of told him my story, like how I had to get out the mud, like, my whole life, like, nothing's ever been handed to me, blah blah blah. And then we was talking about, like, how I didn't have, like, a trainer, like, before training camp, stuff like that. Like, I had to go to St. Croix every day by myself, look up YouTube videos, like, of Jaylen Brown, all the other players, to try to figure out, like, moves I would want to work on.
Yeah.
And we was just talking. He was like, man, like, he really put me on game. He was like, man, you got this far, like, doing it by yourself. Like, man, you got to basically, like, change your perspective and think, like, man, like, you got this far by yourself. Imagine, you know, when you start being able to get the resources you want, all this other type of stuff. But
yeah,
he just put me on game. Like he kind of installed confidence in myself also, just because I'm like, he just changed the perspective of everything. Like, I always thought negative everything. Like, man, I've been doing this by myself. Like, man, it's hard, blah, blah. But he just changed my whole perspective and just made me think positive about every little situation. Every negative situation, he taught me to think positive. Find one positive thing about everything.
Wow.
And yeah, he was dope. I rock with Beasley, and his work ethic is tremendous, and it shows. Like, he's averaging 20 plus, doing his thing, rocking out.
Yeah, it certainly shows this season. He's been, in my opinion, by far the best Timberwolf this season. And
doing his thing for sure.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that story, because we as fans don't really get that glimpse into the personal lives and these actual personalities that these big time players have. We just see them stroke a three every night and how good their shooting form is, but not how good of a person they are off the court. So it's cool to hear these personal stories.
Yeah, especially with a guy like Beasley, who you know, who's had some negative stuff in the media. It's cool to hear who he actually is as a person, and going out of his way to help a young guy in the league like yourself. It shows a lot about him as well, and I think. Yeah, that's a very cool story to hear, especially when you see how he plays in the court and the energy that he brings to the Timberwolves. And it's another notch up. And BG, you hit it on the head when you said he has been the best player for the Timberwolves this year, just in terms of the energy he brings and obviously the way he helps his teammates, like you just shared, Ade. So thank you so much for that. That was awesome. Yeah,
no problem. No problem at all.
Go follow Ade on Instagram at _Murk. Are there any burners you want us to promote?
No, I ain't got no burners.
No burner accounts. Okay.
We're not going public with those yet. We'll just wait till we get to the league.
Yeah, maybe
soon,
we'll get it.
Hey, soon. Give me a year. I'm gonna have a few of them, man.
All right, and we'll get those ads off air so we don't expose you when you're doing that. But Ade, again, seriously, thank you for being on. We do really appreciate it. And we wish you the best of luck this season, next season, whatever the future has for you. Just know we'll be rooting for you, and everybody who's going to listen to this is going to be rooting for you. And we hope that the journey continues and you make it to the league.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
No problem.